You're watching The Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Jena, joined with Bean and our new person, Alfie, here on Space Cadets, where all of us either work at Space Cadets or have worked at Space Cadets. And super excited to have Alfie here for this first show and hopefully more shows to come. So I figured this would be a good time to get to know the Alfie. Hello.
Hello.
So let's start with, what was your first comic book?
It probably actually wasn't my first, but the first one that comes to mind is Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. That's probably at least when I was starting to be like, you know what? Maybe I do want to collect all of these.
I love those series of comic books that they've done because they've done like Ash versus like Cassie from Hack Slash, and then they've done like Ash versus Evil Dead versus like Army of Darkness versus like I love the way they keep stacking things.
Yeah, no, all the crossover stuff is always fun.
Yeah. I keep waiting for the day because they have this one where it's Alien versus Predator versus Superman versus Batman, something along those lines. I'm waiting for the day where it's all of that versus Ash.
Yeah, that would be fun. I do wonder how that would end. I don't know who would win on that one. I feel like it has to be Ash, but I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, of course it's got to be Ash because of those four, oh my gosh, like of those four, nobody ever wins with, because they did Batman versus Predator and it came to a draw because Batman was so good. And then it was Superman versus Alien. Superman won, but like Alien still, the Xenomorph still got around because that's how they do. And then like an AVP, they both win. So like, let's add Ash into the mix.
Yeah, I mean, a chainsaw hand couldn't hurt. It would, add to it at the very least.
Definitely. Bean, do you want to ask the next question?
Oh, I was thinking still about so I haven't actually read any book. I've read verses books, but I've never read where it gets to third and fourth verses. But all I can imagine is just a line. Freddy is trying to get Jason and Jason's trying to get Ash. It's just a line of people all fighting each other. I know is that it? Is it certain people each other, or are they just all fighting?
I'll be honest, it has been a hot minute since I've read those. I would actually have to reread them to remember because I was picking them up as they were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it was just everyone against everyone, or it could be that it was Freddy and Jason, and then Ash was well, I guess I have to take care of this. You've made it my problem.
Yeah.
I know in the Superman, Batman, Alien, Predator one, it was... So here's the setup. So a volcano is starting to erupt, and when it does, it unlocks or unseals a cave that's in the side of the mountain that's to the volcano. And inside of it, Batman finds energy readings, and then Superman's Fortress of Solitude is hey, there's a distress signal in here for another alien species. And so Superman's going in there, and he finds the Predator, the Yautja race in there, having a village because they accidentally got locked on Earth a few thousand years ago while hunting down aliens. And so when Batman gets there, he finds the Xenomorph race and is trying to survive that while killing them. And then they accidentally bump into each other. And then Batman's all we need to take them all out all of it. Take it all out. Let the volcano take him out. And Superman's like, this tribe just wants to join their people because he never saw the xenomorphs. He only saw the Yautja. And then so they start fighting on whether to save any of them or not. And then the aliens are just like, oh, nom nom, I'm a xenomorph. I'm going to eat you. You did. And then Soups is all like, now, wait a minute. That's an alien maybe not worth saving. And Batman's like, bro, I told you. And Soups is like, okay, let's stop this fight. Let's save the Yautja. And, you know, let's send the alien, the xenomorphs to like the moon or something. And Bats is like, no, take them all out. We're done. And then the volcano erupts and like Superman saves a couple of Yautja and these xenomorphs get taken out. And Bats does what Bats does. He escapes, saves his own butt.
Honestly, like when you had said the Alien versus Predator versus Superman versus Batman, I was honestly thinking that maybe Superman and the alien might team up because it's like, hey, we can relate. We're both aliens. And then the Predator and Batman would team up because it's like, hey, we're both kind of detectives. I mean, I would read that too.
Yeah.
And also, when you were describing it, I was honestly not expecting a volcano to be in play at all. If you had asked, like, oh, what do you, like, if you had any idea of what this comic would entail, I would not say, oh, volcano for sure, obviously. That's how all of this starts, is because of a volcano.
It all starts because the Yautja were hunting xenomorphs on Earth a few thousand years ago, and volcano erupts, and so they hide in a cave, and the other ones hide in another cave, and then they get trapped, and a couple thousand years later, Bats and Soups find them because volcano decides to erupt again. So it really should be called Aliens versus Predators versus Superman versus Batman versus Volcano.
Maybe just DC versus Volcano.
I don't think a crossover like that will ever happen again, since Predators and Alien franchise are now owned by Marvel. I think the only reason it could happen back then was because they were owned by Dark Horse.
But who owns Volcano? Will we ever see a Volcano versus? Who owns the concept of a volcano? Like,
everybody.
Okay, cool. Then Volcano versus DC.
It's kind of like Cthulhu. It's public domain now.
I don't know. I feel like because there was that Pixar short about volcanoes, so I think Pixar owns volcanoes, and then
so like Disney
owned by Disney. So then Marvel owns volcanoes.
Okay, I guess I'll settle for Marvel versus volcanoes.
I mean, why not?
If I have to.
We may never see it in a movie, though. We may just have to wait for the comics to do it.
I am really disappointed. I love the idea that they were just going to put him on the moon. Like I wish I think that's what like we should just do for a while. Like that's like what DC should do for a while, is just put all the bad guys on the moon and then have like epic like moon war saga.
We're now, you know what, Arkham Moon. We're putting it on the moon. That's like the equivalent of like, oh, you know what? We have a lot of pollution and a lot of trash. Space. Put it up there. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. Doesn't exist.
I think the funniest part about Superman suggesting, the moon, is there's literally whole civilizations in the DC universe that live on the moon. And I'm like, Soups, you're trying to take out all of them.
Well, he's just like, well, as long as they're not taking out people here, then it's fine. Out of sight, out of mind, moon. Put it on the moon.
Maybe Superman just like forgot. Like maybe he didn't know, but Batman's definitely the one that like has like a lot of knowledge. Like he spends a lot of time like researching stuff. So if he's the one arguing against the moon solution, that's probably why he's like, oh man, we got people up there. This guy doesn't even know.
He's looking at Superman like, dude, do you not remember last week when we put other people on the moon? Like, that's where we put them for safety. Now you're just like, moon. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Like you could just throw the xenomorphs into the sun and call it a day.
No, we have people on sun. So
no, only Superman goes to the sun in All-Star Superman, I think.
And he doesn't want his son to be like all infested with xenomorph stuff. No. Not even the burnt remnants. He wants his son to be perfect, but the moon and the people up there. Eh.
And so do you guys actually know the very first time Xenomorphs and Superman crossed over?
Was it Superman Goes to the Moon? They just happened to be there.
No, it was Aliens versus Superman. And so Superman found a distress signal, again, from a city that had escaped the planet exploding, because that's how that works, right? And so he goes there, and everybody is wiped out, and all there is leftover facehugger eggs. And he's like, does my people lay eggs? I don't think so. And you're just sitting here like, dude, you're going to get ate. And then he gets down to the sewers, and he's just like attacked by swarms of them that are even stronger because it's kryptonites that they burst out of. And he's like, yeah, so my heat ray does nothing. That's a thing now. And then one person grabs him and is like, what are you doing? Stop making them hyper. They were sleeping. Why are you trying to kill the rest of us? And he's like, I'm going to be honest, I thought you was dead. But okay, I will save you.
Oh, you're still alive? Oh.
Oopsie.
Oops.
Hey, there's something in your chest. She's like, stop looking at my chest. I know. It's going to burst out. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're just
go
like,
to the
wow.
moon.
And so him trying to save this one kryptonite is what caused aliens to be on Earth again.
You know what? I think Superman just really needs to stop answering distress signals. I think that's really where the problems start.
Yes.
Just
or at least like, have somebody there to like be like, okay, like by doing this, and then they'll be like, let's not bring the alien directly back to Earth. Is clearly just killed all these people and exploded out.
They could be these people's eggs.
How about we send a satellite or like a droid there to check out why it's in distress first?
Nah, Superman, he just goes. It's like, you know what? It's fine. I'm Superman. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, but it's just a whole city of Superman, and all of them just got like wiped out with face huggers. Rude.
It'll be fine. Superman.
Oh. And then with the Batman versus Predator, Predator was actually after somebody else in his mansion before they were like, I should go after Batman. And I've always thought to myself, I was like, who were they originally after? Was it Alfred? Is Alfred technically scarier and more hardcore than Batman? Probably.
I mean, didn't he like go to war and do all that like crazy stuff? Like, isn't he like?
Yeah, he was a spy.
Yeah, so he probably has information
in the new show.
That's right, the new show. Yeah. We're going to find out more about Alfred Pennyworth, who was a British spy during World War II and other things.
I had started watching that like a while ago, and it was really good. I think I was just distracted by something. There's too many things to watch and read and play, so it's like,
oh, gosh.
I'll binge it eventually.
That's why I think I wait for trades to come out over single issues, where it's like, I'll get the single issue, the first issue, right? And then I'm like, okay, I really like this, but I ain't got time to try and read this every single week or every single month, so I'm just going to wait for the trade.
You see, that's the problem, though. I have time, but instead of consuming new content, a lot of the times I'm just like, I'll go to an old favorite. And it's like, why do I do this? I want to watch and read and experience new things, but you know what? I haven't seen 30 Rock in a little bit for the 17th time. Let's just rewatch that.
Oh my gosh. So what is some of the favorite ones that you do go back to? Like your favorite shows or movies that you go back to and like watch like 1,000 times?
Oh man. Well, 30 Rock is definitely one. If I'm feeling like if I'm at a low point, I'm just like, you know what? I just need some 30 Rock, and then after I consume the entire show, I'll be better again. So all 7 seasons, and then that's all I need. I'll be great. For movies, I definitely rewatch Basketball and Slam Salmon quite a bit. Those never get old to me. I've rewatched Scream quite a few times. I've rewatched The Human Centipede quite a few times. And I will die on the hill that is a good movie. The people that really hate it and are like, oh, it's the grossest thing, haven't seen it. But whatever. Parks and Rec I was rewatching quite a bit for a while. That never gets old. Oh man, there's too
a lot.
many.
For Scream, did you ever watch the TV series?
Yeah.
How was it? I missed it.
I remember enjoying the first season. I've seen all of it, but I don't remember how I felt about how many seasons are there of that show? It's 2 or 3, I think. But I definitely enjoyed the first season. It was pretty good. It's not the movies though. You have to separate it. The only thing that's the same is a ghost face type killer. It's a slasher.
Yeah.
That's a good show too. I think it's just called Slasher. The first season was excellent. I still have to watch my to watch list is stupid. It's just it keeps growing.
Girl. Oh my gosh, there was another show that you and I were talking about earlier. I was trying to remember, and now it's gone. No.
Earlier as in at the store, or earlier as in okay.
What was it we were talking about? Bean, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, while we were talking about favorite things, I was just gonna ask Alfie, what's your favorite comic book?
Oh. Why are you doing this to me? Well, I guess that is part of the. Yeah. Okay. Oh no. And you see, now that you've asked, I can't remember the names of any.
Is that how it always happens?
Yeah, it's the same with the things that you constantly rewatch. It's I named a few, but I know that there's more. But my brain's you don't watch anything. What are you talking about? You don't even know how to read. So, what is my favorite comic book? Well, I feel like Tank Girl, just in general, has a special place in my heart. I grew up watching the movie quite a bit, and I've read some of the comics, and they are really enjoyable. I still need to read all of them, but there's 1 or 9, so it's going to take a bit. Right now, I'm really enjoying Elvira in Horrorland. That's fun. That's a current favorite.
They just did a Xenomorph cover with Elvira. I had to buy it.
It's good. Oh, Stray Dogs is probably up there.
Oh yeah,
as one of my favorites. I cried, definitely cried, but
3 legs, Alfie.
3 legs.
Okay. Whew,
my heart hurts. And now I'm looking at your comics have I read any of these? Maybe one of these is my favorite. There's too many. What are y'all's favorite comics?
Oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure Stray Dogs is up there in my top 5. And that's all I can think about now is Stray Dogs. You mentioned it and that's it. It's there are no other comics in the universe but that, Jennifer. Ciao. I'm okay, I'm sorry. Brain. I love Good Boy.
Good Boy's really good.
What about you, Bean?
I was just gonna say I've got a couple. I bounce between them. I'm very much of the opinion that you can have a lot of favorites.
Oh, agreed.
And bounce between them. I think my favorite comic is one that I still really need to come and pick up my 12th issue of because it's in my pull box at the store, and that is Sweet Paprika, which I made Jena and Shanice read. I love it so much. Yeah, it's a whole bunch. I read her Unnatural series just recently. Just sort of working my way through her back catalog, and it's so good. Actually, I wanted to share with you guys real quick, like something. It was like this gorgeous like Lady Death picture that she did for New York Comic Con.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna like drop that in the chat. Yeah, I just love Mark Gandolfo's art so much.
Yeah.
And
So the next thing you need to read is Mercy then.
yeah, I think Mercy, because at least from the cover, seems like it's a very different art style.
Yeah.
And so that's because I believe that she didn't illustrate that one, right? She wrote it.
I think she did some of both.
Mm-hmm.
She did the writing, and I think she did some of the art on it. And what's crazy is the covers are done by a different artist, and they look so beautiful. Like, I don't know, like Jay will do his magic where he puts like pictures. There's this one where it's just her that she looks so realistic, you don't realize it's drawing. But then when you open it, it's that classic art that we all know and love. And then the supernatural element of like that giant thing coming out of her, beautiful. I'm trying not to spoil it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that like I think the hyper realistic, like, and I know exactly what cover you're talking about, because that's the one I think they used it for the trade because it was so beautiful.
I think so.
But like, I'm not a huge fan of like the super realistic art style. Which I guess, Alfie, what kind of art styles are you drawn to for comics?
Oh, anything spooky. Like anything that looks remotely spooky. In any style, just if it's scary. I'd say, okay, it's not a comic book, but definitely one of my favorite art styles is the art from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
That's up there. It's something that I've always loved and remembered, like since I was a small little child, just reading it, checking it out from my library and stuff. And until adulthood, it's like, love it so much. And I liked the style of art in Red Room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually like that style. It's definitely not a book that I can easily recommend to people because it's for a specific audience.
It's a thing.
Weirdos. But I really like that art style. And the art in Insects. I like that art style, especially since like actually looking at the cover and you open it and it's like, oh, okay, so you don't feel like you got ripped off. If you're picking a comic from a comic book cover, then that's a good one because you open it up and it's like, oh, the art is actually similar to the cover.
Yeah.
And some of them, like I've bought comic books purely for the art on the cover. Like, oh, cool, that's what the comic's gonna look like. And then it's like, oh, well, I mean, all right, I guess. I'll put that in the long box, I guess. All right.
Man, that does get kind of annoying where you see this like completely different, like 100% almost different genre type of art from a cover to inside the book. And that does drive me up a wall sometimes. I'm just like,
yeah. Even if I like the art inside, and it's one thing if it's like, oh, well, this is a Scotty Young cover, but it's not his book.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's fine. Like, I understand different artists do different covers. That's fine. If I know it, then that's fine. But if it's like, oh, no, this is just the regular A cover. It's not a variant. It's nothing. And then it's like a really beautiful piece. Like, it could be oh God, who am I? And
Alex Ross.
Yep. Like if the cover is like an Alex Ross, but then you open it up and it's like you're getting
like a Scotty Young or a Kit Wallace.
No, like well, yeah. I mean, those are completely different art types.
Yeah.
Like it could be good, but it's like, oh, that's not what I was.
Yeah.
Expecting. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I bought it for Alex Ross, but then I got the Amazing World of Gumball. It's like, all right, that's different. Okay.
A comic that came out from DC not very long ago that was like that. I think it was called World of Krypton or something like that. It was one of those where it was like Superman adjacent.
Oh, okay.
And that one was like that, where the cover was like very like traditional, and then inside was like really like sketchy, like people had like square heads, you know.
Yeah.
And it was a really interesting story, but it was so distracting to be like, I think especially for like a, you know, like you kind of think, especially with a traditional cover, like a Superman story is gonna be, it's gonna look
Superman.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But then they do have those like ones that's like the realistic and beautifully done, like the Jim Lee art and Alex Ross art. And then they do the specialty Scotty Young covers. And I don't know why, but anytime I see like Scotty Young cover, I'm like, okay, this is not the art on the inside at all. I know that. Like I have that in my head. And those are fine because you know it says special cover, it says variant cover. But if you do a cover A or you do a cover B, or those are just the regular covers, and you do that, rude.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, comic artists and stuff, they can do their comics however they want.
Yeah.
But at least give me an idea of what to expect. Some sort of idea.
Yeah. Because, there was one book that actually really bothered me. And you guys know, like I have his poster right here. It was the new Ninjak series that came out. Was it earlier this year, I think? It came out and they had this art where it was like traditional Ninjak art, how it normally looks, which is similar to this, right? But on the inside, it was like Art Deco pop art where people were just like a circle head and then like a square body. And you're just like, okay, I see what you were trying to do, but you took me so out of it with that type of art that I don't even enjoy the story to it. You know, it was just one of those ones where the art itself was so distracting to the story. Because I'm the type of person that I can forgive a semi-okay story as long as the art is good. Now, if you got a bad story, I'm sorry, I can't read your stuff. But like, I can forgive an okay story and okay writing if it's great art. But if it's bad art, I can't even get into the story. Like, because we're in that. This is that industry where art is the majority of the comic. That's what puts you into it.
Or you would hope so.
Yeah. Do you either of you guys kind of like ever have those moments where you're just like, okay, I can't read this. It's just like the art is so either vastly different or so bad. Have you guys ever had something like that?
I feel
Definitely
like
have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like my deal breaker is like I can put up with some funky art that may not be up to my usual taste, and I can put up actually with some like kind of like not great writing if the story's interesting. If I'm bored, it doesn't matter if it's the most beautiful book in the world. It doesn't matter if it's like written like in like beautiful like language. If I'm bored, it's not gonna happen. I was specifically thinking about one of my favorite series, which is God Killer Spiderland, which is like the most recent arc that's been coming out of it. That book, the first time I read it, it's crazy. That book is crazy. You know what? The art, wonderful, very chaotic. Like this, as far as how it's written, you remember when like, so I haven't watched all of Game of Thrones. Have you guys watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Okay. So I only read the books. And in the first season, HBO like put like a bunch of just like sex scenes in that weren't even in the book. And I'm like, this is just like a conversation taking place. And then there's just like people doing stuff with each other. I'm like, what are they doing over there?
That's why they did it.
Did they think that we would get bored with the information sharing? Like,
yeah, that's exactly what they thought.
Oh my goodness.
But it's the God Killer Spiderland is like that like the background stuff as like a comic book, where it's very clear. It's like this person don't got no clothes on just because, you know. That's, and I was like, I read the first one. I was like, man, what the heck, like. Hey. And then like I was like sitting there like a couple hours later. I was like, why'd they have that arm in that? But like, what was up with that cube that kept glowing? They never really explained that, did they? And like, I got the rest of the series then because I was like, I gotta know.
Like a whole series in the background was happening during the series.
It's like, people just don't have no clothes on. Like, that's just it.
You said it was called God Killer?
Yeah. Which that's another one where it's one of the most recent covers that came out is very beautiful. It does not reflect the art inside, but it's also
Alfie's
like
making notes.
yeah, it's also like number 3 in the series, and like this is like the 3rd volume of the series. I feel like that's the point at which to really like push the boat out and like have a really interesting cover, because all of your regular readers know exactly what they're going to get when you open it.
Yeah.
So
goodness gracious. All right, Alfie's got her note down.
Yes.
All right, Alfie, has there ever been a time where you were just like taken out of a story or taken out of like a book or like a series because of the art?
Oh, I'm certain that there was. I can't recall the name of it because I immediately stopped reading. I was like, no, I guess that's just in the collection now. I guess just filler. Like, all right, that's fine. I know that I've also I know that I definitely do that with animes, especially since animes are typically quite long. If I don't like the art, it's like, no. The story could be great. It could be a classic. Nope. I can't do it. If I don't like the art, I can't do it. I will say, okay, I read the first issue of what is it? Is it it's that Moon Knight with the 3 stories, like, is it Red?
Oh, Red, Black, White, and Red. Or Black,
Yes.
White, and Blood.
Yeah, that one. I liked it, but there were, I think the first story, I was like, I can't really tell what's going on because the art's just so dark. I was like, I can't discern exactly what's happening. The story seems good, but I have no idea of what things look like. But it didn't stop me from actually reading it, so.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I have stopped reading a comic. It wasn't one that I was really invested in, but I did definitely stop reading one because they just kept having like these huge like crowd scenes where everyone was talking and it was impossible to know who was talking to who and in what order you were supposed to read it.
Yeah.
It's like having the subtitles on for everyone in a game, and it's like you're just walking by a crowd of people and it's just like, oh, is that important information? Or am I just eavesdropping? Eavesdropping? Listening in.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like just all these subtitles, and it's like, wait, is any of this important? Do I need to remember? No? Okay.
I need to remember that bread is too expensive. I need to remember that. That's
like
how I always felt like listening to in Fable 3. Because they just randomly would have just random facts being told by the people around you where they're like, oh, the king is doing this. And it's like, I need to know that one. Got it. But then like the very next, line would be, this is expensive. And you're just like, what is expensive? Do I need to know it's expensive? Why is it expensive? And then that never comes up again. Yeah.
I don't feel like I get stressed about that because I am the person who's just like, whoops, skipped a cutscene. Oh well, boop-a-doop-a-doo. Got my bow and arrow, got my sword, having fun. Don't know who anyone is. Yeah. I started a game recently. I started trying to play Fire Emblem. Three Houses.
Yeah.
They just came out with 3 Hopes, so I keep getting the 2 confused. But in the very first scene, it's not a spoiler because this very first scene, I think that I wasn't paying attention close enough. And somebody was like, hey, who's this guy? And they like pointed to like an older guy that I've been traveling with. And I was like, I don't know. I've never seen that guy before in my life. Because that was one of the dialogue options. And it turned out it was my dad in the game. And it was like, Dad dislikes this.
Every dad remembered that.
Every dad.
All right, so we will be right back and find out more about Alfie's deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh no.
Right. Just kidding. We're not going to ask you that.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
Hey everybody, I'm David Boer, the writer of Kanto, Killer Queens, and All New Firefly, and you are watching The Experience.
All right, we are back. And I actually have something it's like a recommendation kind of, if Alfie hasn't like read it before, but I was going to see, have you read Scotty Young's horror book that he put out?
I have not.
It is so good. It's called The Meaning Love in the Dark. It's so good. It's really short too.
Oh, wait.
5.
No, I have read that.
Yeah, you read that one?
I believe so, actually.
I love that one so much. It has
it's the ghost and stuff, yeah? Mm-hmm. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there's something I've read.
Yay!
Okay, so I have read that.
Yeah.
So next on your Scotty Young list. Next on your Scotty Young list is either got to be I Hate Fairyland, especially since it's coming back, and Middle West.
Oh, I haven't read Middle West.
So good.
I need to really bad, but it's kind of hard to find. I was trying to find like a paperback of volume 1, but it's sort of reached that point where mostly you can find it like hardcover, compendium style.
Yeah, that big boy.
Yeah.
And it is crazy how Scotty Young, once he starts a series, he's with that series until the end. Like that's his series now. And it's crazy how good of an artist and writer he is. Like, how dare you have so much talent?
It is kind of annoying. Like, could you spare a little talent for the rest of us? Maybe.
Is that where the whole generation's? I see you. I see you. I
think the next thing I want to ask Alfie about is like how do you collect comics? Like, do you just like grab things you're like cool? Do you like for me, like I always collect cover A's. That's like what I want, and then I'll also get extras, but like that's what I want. Jena usually does like first issue and then gets the trade.
Yeah,
for a lot. It kind of depends on what it is. For something like for example, like I would like to read Spawn. I am not going to go back and collect every single issue. I will get a compendium.
It's impossible at this point.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, if it was possible, it's like no, I will just get a compendium or 2 or 3, however many there are. That's fine.
They're about to do their 5th one.
I'll never finish it
because they're upwards to almost 400 issues now.
Oh, so like 1 or 9. It's not that big of a deal. Easy peasy. Get through it in a day. But yeah, and then there's others that I currently have on my pull list. Like Elvira and Horrorland. I don't care what cover you give me. I just know that I want it, and I will be very upset if I don't get it. So just give it to me. And
I really like the Surgeons of Elvira coming back. That makes me happy.
I love it. It's amazing. And I know, like, I read the trade of Red Room, the first bit that they had of it. I read the trade of that, and I'm perfectly happy not getting all the issues. I would like to own the trade. But with the next one that they did, I was like, oh, we happen to have all the issues. I'll take them. So it just depends.
Yeah.
But I don't have to have a specific thing, just as long as I get something.
Yeah.
Unless if any comic had like a cover with Junji Ito doing the art for it, it's like, okay, well, I need that cover. Obviously.
Yeah.
I will collect anything related to Junji Ito, which unfortunately he's doing like magic cards. It's like,
It's sucking you
I have
back
to get
in.
back into magic? No.
Oh my
I
god.
can't. There's too much
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
Too
I was
much.
about to be like, there's my money.
Yep.
The
Sorry,
money is gone
guys.
now.
Can't go have fun. Spend all my money on Junji Ito
Yeah.
magic cards.
Yeah, I think they went up for pre-order, and I need to get them. I will. That's going to be a thing. I'll regret it if I don't get it. I'll just regret it.
Mhm.
But he's also getting into NFTs now, and I'm like, Junji, no, please no,
Junji, yes.
no NFTs. I can't invest in NFTs. I can't become a crypto bro. No.
What's funny is, so one of the Kickstarters that I back is called Gaslighter. You've read the first issue, Bean. And on the Kickstarters, no matter what you back, one of the unlockable things is NFTs of chibi versions of the character.
Yeah.
So I've got like all of them, and I'm just like, I need more.
You own
Look
NFTs.
how cute they are. I do. A handful of them, or dozen or so. Yeah.
Hanging out with that board ape yacht club.
But what's funny is, so on this Kickstarter, they have them as unlockables. So if you back like the bottom tier, which is usually like $15-20, right? You get this NFT sent to you. And goodness gracious, how dare they make her adorable? Okay, she is a killer of many things and part zombie and adorable little bitty chibi
Zombies can be
NFT.
adorable.
She's cute in the book where she's like playing video games.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here for more of those. And yeah, so now I'm gonna have to track down and get the Junji 2 ones.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I can't put money into NFTs. I just can't. I refuse. I won't do it. Also, I don't have money, so I guess that helps. Apparently my money's going to magic cards and comic books and video games, and all of my hobbies are expensive. All of them.
Yeah.
What video games are you playing right now?
Right now I'm playing Arcade Paradise, where you run your dad's laundromat, but your dream is to run an arcade. So you just start turning the laundromat into an arcade without him knowing. And you can actually play all the arcade games in the game. That's actually often on your to-do list, like, oh, kill 30 zombies with an SMG and Zombat 2.
Excuse
All
me
right,
while
I'll
I
do
get
that.
my notebook out.
Yeah. It's super
What was
fun.
that again?
Arcade Paradise.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to play all the games that I have on Stadia and get those beaten and done with because Stadia is shutting down. So
Yeah, I heard about that.
I thought that was just a rumor.
no, it's true. I even got an
Aw.
email saying like, hey, your subscription for Stadia has been canceled. You'll have access until you don't. Like until I think it's January 18th is when it's all done.
Oh man. Okay.
And then, but at least they're giving you a refund for anything that you bought aside from the subscription. So
Okay. I am really sad now.
yeah. And I'm definitely gonna leave Resident Evil 7 for my last game, probably. I don't want to play it, but it's in my library. Well,
Why
I want to
don't-
play it. It looks great, but I'm
Yeah.
a huge baby. Huge baby.
Is that the village one?
No,
I
7
thought that was the
is...
fourth one.
The village is 8.
Oh, okay.
7 is the one where they're in that, like... kind of like a Texas Chainsaw House. That's the only way I would compare it. The creepy swamp people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the fourth one where, oh God, I think you're Leon and you're in a village?
Was that the fourth one? Oh,
Was
yeah,
that the
because I
fourth
think...
one?
Okay, I think that is the fourth one, and then I think 5 is the one where you can co-op.
Okay, so Resident Evil is going to need its own like full hour episode from what I'm reading. Cuz like then we go into the movies.
Which there's more of those than you think. It's
There
like
is a lot.
It's like you think like, oh, they stopped after like 2 or 3, yeah?
Nope.
No, there's so many more. They just didn't really get a theatrical release here. There's
Well, it
7,
depends.
definitely 7 or 8.
There's definitely 7, but if you count the animated movies they did, then there's about 12.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Don't they have a show going on right now?
They do, and I watched it, and I am words.
So you loved it. Favorite of all time. Best Resident Evil adaptation, obviously.
It was such a thing that I watched halfway through. I took off my glasses, so I wasn't really watching the thing.
Yes. So it was just so good that you couldn't handle it, is what you're saying.
Words.
I can't wait to watch that in 3 years. It'll probably take that long to get around to it.
Yeah. It made me so sad too. I was so excited, and I sat down. I watched the first episode. The first episode was pretty good. It seems like it's outside the storyline, stuff like that. Well, it's in the same timeline, just different part of the planet of all the things going on, right? But then they just sort of like went off the rails, and it's already been canceled. It's already been canceled.
No.
That is what we were talking about.
Yes, Mr. Producer. That is, yeah. So I was so excited for this. I watched the first episode. I really liked the first episode. And that's where they got me. Because if I make it through a first episode, that means I need to watch, all of it. So I did.
And it was just as strong throughout as the first episode.
Why did they have to hurt me that way?
See, that was your first mistake was being excited. Don't be excited for anything.
Now hold on. I was excited about Rings of Power, and it's so far been very good. Thank you.
I know. That was absolute sarcasm. As the person who I always get excited for the new thing. I'm just like, wow,
This is
could
so
be
exciting.
great. I'm usually wrong. It's fine. I'm happy.
This was one of those moments where usually it's like, I'm so excited about something. I'm just glad that it's getting out there for people to see and get attention for. Right? No. This was that kind of level of, this has nothing to do with any of the comics, any of the books, any of the movies, any of the games, any of the lore set up for Resident Evil has nothing, zero to do with this show. This show is its own thing and used a popular name.
Sometimes that can be good. But
This was not one of those times.
It's not. Yeah.
It wasn't good, it was excellent.
Alfie, we are friends.
I'm in your house, I should probably stop. Like, you could just, like, at any moment, we're just not going to see you. And just, I'm going to see you burst through the door.
Just like throw the door open and be like, Alfie! No, I wouldn't do that. So on that note, I think it is time for us to bring back something that has been popular in the past. And we've kind of had this weird hiccup here, but I'm super glad it's back. It is time for Pick of the Week. Pick of the Week. Woo. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and jump us off. This has 3 volumes, and you can read almost all of it, mostly free, on an app called Webtoon. And put the picture of it because it's like a green bubble that says Webtoons in it. But it was so popular, everybody kept asking for it as a trade. So they initially did a Kickstarter, saw the Kickstarter, blew up, and then they decided, okay, let's put it out to the public as books. So I have this one. This is volume 1. There's 3 of these now. And I'm just asking y'all to read just like the first like couple of things. I have it all. I have it all. But so this is so good. It has been named as one of the best things that's ever come out of Webtoons. And Lore Olympus is about Persephone and how she's a new goddess and she gets an internship and a scholarship in Olympus. And so she leaves the Earth realm. And in this, the Earth realm is still back in like ancient times of like ancient Greek times of like togas and, you know, wreaths and, you know, stuff like that. But in Olympus and like hell and all those other places that the gods are at, it's set like now with cell phones and skyscrapers and subways and, you know, taxis, social media, all of that. And so it comes to Hades and Persephone's relationship. And it what's crazy about it is it's closer to the storyline of the old Greek tragedies and like the original Greek like tales of them and how, you know, they fell in love and how Persephone is actually a goddess of like not just like earth and, you know, stuff like that. She is on the same level as Hades when it comes to the like anger and the resentment. And you also, you get to see the sort of what happens when, you know, Hades and his 2 brothers after they've taken over the Titans. And it does go back and forth, and you get to see like all the gods, even Minth shows up in this. Minth was the, I wouldn't call her a creature, but pretty much creature that Hades was seeing before he met Persephone. So you get to see kind of how that relationship goes. And this is the art style of it. So like I can like, ooh. It is so gorgeous in the way that they use, you know, the stuff. Mm-hmm. And you get to also see like Apollo shows up, Hephaestus shows up, like anybody that you can imagine. The Fates show up. And they're just like, ooh, girl, we see you. We see who you are to become. And, you know, you just wait. And getting to meet Servius in this comic was so joyfully fulfilling to me that I have not put it down. So not only do I read it on Webtoons, I also read it, you know, the trades. But like, I cannot describe to you how wonderful it just, because it's so amazing. Like Artemis is in here. You get to see the relationship with her mom, how that is. It's just it is outstanding and wonderful, and I can't wait for you guys to read it. And it's so good. What's up?
Oh, I said I will definitely have to check that out, especially since I love Greek mythology. So
oh my god. And it did make me sad that for the first couple of years that it was out, it was only on Webtoons. And I don't know why, but there are so many people out there. They're like, oh, I'm never going to read comics that way. Webtoons is so cool because people get to create their own things. They're on their tablet. They're on their phone. They're drawing it out. They're writing it out and doing everything themselves. Because like the first like few, they call them episodes, but like chapters of it, it was all just this one person who did all the writing, all the uploading, all the advertising, every single thing that was about this book, she was doing herself, by herself. And she was like, hey guys, this is free, but if you want to do any donations, I will do some live videos of me drawing it, you know, because it's free to read. Mm-hmm. This is $20 and this is, look how thick that book is. So she, for the first couple of years of doing this book, was making nothing, was paying for everything herself out of her own pocket. So she was putting this out weekly by writing it and doing the art in it weekly by herself while doing like a full-time job. And I'm just like, man, you are amazing. And thank you for giving us this deep dive into like the mythology and the mythos that not a whole lot of people know about. So I'm excited for you guys to read that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome and impressive. I mean, I barely work on just stuff I like every week. Like, it's like, I like art, but later, maybe.
Oh, so I do have to give you
This is
guys a
impressive.
trigger warning. There is a content warning on this where kind of it does deal with physical and mental abuse, SA, and toxic relationships. And on the front of it, it does says, please exercise discretion and seek out support and help if you are ever experiencing this. We are here for you. And that is literally the second page of this book, is they tell you that. And the whole rest of the book, they literally are working through themselves, like everything they've been through. Because I don't know if anybody knows the Greek mythology, but like, so it was Hades and Poseidon and Zeus were eaten by their father and had to cut him open, and and that's and they deal with that trauma for the rest of their lives. You think gods, Greek gods, oh sure, they had to kill their own parents so they could survive and ate their father. They're fine with that. No, they have to work through realizing their father ate them,
Just coming to that realization, like, dude, Dad ate us.
Yeah. Guys, we took out Dad. That means that we need to start running things now. Yeah. So it's really good. I can't wait for you guys to read it.
Yeah, I will say I appreciate the content warning. However, I mean, it's just like, it's Greek mythology. That's all of that.
Exactly. And while giving it an update, they kind of follow the storylines where Zeus is a man of many sleeping aroundness.
He's popular.
He gets around. And his wife is very jealous. Like that is a thing that happens in this book also. So, yeah.
Well, honestly, you can't talk about Zeus without mentioning that, because that's a huge part of Zeus.
Yeah. Like a lot of the things that happen because of Zeus, like Zeus does something and then Hera reacts to it, and it's man.
Hera does like to react.
Exactly.
Not even just regarding Zeus, just in general. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna mess everything up.
Yeah.
For fun.
Oh, my husband's having an affair with you. I'm gonna turn you into a swan. I'm gonna turn you into Medusa. I'm gonna turn you into a giant spider. I'm tired of all y'all sleeping with my husband. Okay, we'll do something to your husband then. You're a Greek god. Only Greek gods can do that. Please, if you are in a toxic or abusive relationship, do seek help.
Yeah, do not turn people into swans. It solves nothing. It creates more problems.
Yeah.
I have been and will continue to be Alfie, and that's Jena, and that's Bean, and this has been Space Cadettes. We'll be back next week, and go watch some stuff. Go read some stuff. Have fun. Get out of here.
What everybody?
What are you still doing here?
Bye.
Goodbye.